Whoa, it's Wulzy. Welcome back to another Geometry Dash discussion video / level review. The level in question today is Avernus, the level that's infiltrated the top 10. It's rate only somehow as an insane demon. We're going to talk about that. Extreme. That's definitely an extreme, not an insane. We're going to talk about that today. I have a building video in the works, so in the meantime, we're just going to check out this level because I want to talk about it. This is the verifier right here, Zoing. Controversial. I can't see much discourse in the comments. The main discourse is on Twitter. Let me just pull up the demon list. Where is the tweet? Yeah, Silent Clubstep got moved, which is diabolical. So Avernus got placed at number 2 on the demon list, and people do not like Avernus. I'm not gonna lie. It's a wild top 3. Acheron, Avernus, and Silent Clubstep is the new top 3. Slaughterhouse isn't even top 3 anymore. When the list places levels, they go off of the opinions of the people that have beaten it. This comment, I'm gonna come back to it in just a second. There's not too many opinions, so people are saying like, oh, how come I got placed too early and da 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 da. That's kind of like a controversial aspect of it because the verifier had a lot of the say, I believe, and also the people that like doing runs. So this comment, people are judging it by how it looks, and another point that I want to talk about is fixed hitboxes. Yeah, this person got it right here. So I'm pulling up a showcase by Pock Windfish, and we're gonna just take a look at it. So these spikes right here in the... Actually, this is like the only time in the video where I can actually not be a showcase merchant. So let's just get the level up and just pause and look at the hitboxes straight away so I can actually tell you what I'm on about straight away. So these hitboxes, right, they're fixed. And it's very odd. See, right away, you see on the player that there are tiny hitboxes at the very tips of these spikes, and these are invisible. Let me just give you some clarity on this. A lot of people already know this, but let's just say I have a spike right here. Oh, right here. The rectangular hitbox in the red is where you actually would die from. So here's my trail. All of the red boxes. If I touch any other red boxes, I die. Big Bud killing it. Okay. To make this hitbox more accurate, we can scale down and then make a spike invisible like this. And it kind of blindly buffs the hitbox to be more like the edge, and people scale hack as well to get it even smaller and just make it a bit more like a triangular shaped hitbox. Tried has made a fantastic video on this topic before, but the result is just like a bunch of stacked spikes like this. If I go into the level editor without preview mode, just take a look at this spike. Look, there's like extra spikes that you just can't see in the level, and that's like, it's blind difficulty, right? It's a pretty controversial thing to be adding in an extreme demon when you need to be able to see what's going on. And these hitboxes are fixed so much that you just can't judge the difficulty based on just a video. And you'll find this pretty much all the way through the level, I believe. Yeah, even these spikes further into the level, they're fixed, dude. It's so weird. If you're watching this video with an expectation of, oh, how is the gameplay? How hard is it? Da da da. I would go and watch Aeon's video because he's made a video playing it in slow motion and like checking out every single individual click and just explaining how he feels. The level looks good. From that standpoint, I'm quite surprised that this received a rate only, because I've seen some levels with questionable gameplay and good visuals that end up getting featured and not just rated only, right? And this level, I guess because it's an extreme demon and the gameplay is like very, very important, it's been reduced to a rate only from the mod team and the voting system for the demon. And I see why, because those hitboxes are kind of hell to deal with. You have to learn the game in a different way. Like, you get a lot of memory out of how you can interact with all the objects in this game, and this level just totally negates that, just for the sake of the level being difficult and therefore more popular, which is why it's pretty disliked in the top community, right? The people that are insanely good at the game are quite disgusted by this level because they aren't used to the fact that these spikes are actually like twice as big as they look. Now, this level bears a lot of resemblance to the Golden. It kind of has a similar BPM and pattern in the song that is matched up to that wave part you just saw right there. I think it's a pretty tasteful remake, even though the decoration isn't themed the same. I think the actual level itself comes across pretty similar. The way that the screen darkens. Yes, by the way, this is no clip to the showcase is not legitimate. That's why the player's going through the spikes. I do think that like some sections are oddly like too climactic for how the song feels at that part. For example, this little mini cube part, the song is not doing all that. Like, I think in the Golden, this is N-Swish's verification. At all times, the song's energy is matched in each part with slow gameplay and proper progression and stuff like that. You know, it's still slow at the beginning, then when you get to the middle, it's faster. I believe this is low detail mode, I'm not gonna lie. And it's oddly calm at the intense parts, so you get past the fast parts and then you get to the slow parts and it's like like the perfect amount of intensity for you to feel really nervous. Like, look at the heart rate escalating here. I feel like balancing and building levels that way, so you get past the fast part and then you get to a slower part and it's more intense. There's like more room for like timings and stuff like that are more visible on the screen. You get like the smaller gaps and stuff. I think that's just a nice way to do it, and I don't think this level quite capitalizes on that the way that it could. Also, this part feels really odd because there's like no color flashes or anything, so I do think this level kind of falls apart in quality towards the end anyway, but not so much to deduct like a featured rating I would give this level if the gameplay was like really consistent and solid and good, like the same quality as the decoration. Because look, there's a lot of like moving glow, it's very atmospheric, we have this foreground above, we have a bunch of lava objects. It's actually pretty cool how it's made. Like, these are in-game objects that have tricks with their base and detail colors to make certain details, and I really like that because it seems pretty well optimized. I don't think there's a low detail mode for this level until about 66%, which is really impressive if true, because that means that this runs really consistently, at least in Zoink's opinion, the verifier. Some of the transitions are a little bit weird. It seems to be merged quite weirdly. You can see the purple before it moves on, and I feel like a level of this caliber could at least put like a little bit extra detail just to make the change in visual satisfying. Like, that was a bit more satisfying to watch. I'm kind of agreeing with the people saying that the list is declining in quality, as these levels are being made for the sake of being hard instead of the sake of being actual levels for people to play and enjoy and have a good experience with and actually grind towards their new hardest demon, right? Like, most people beating top 10s, unless they're just like a maniac, are probably grinding for like one of their first harder completions. I don't think anyone's going to want to grind for this level. We're seeing like less and less victors on new levels that are coming out. It really is quite fiendish that the level's been designed in this way just for the sole purpose of torture, but Nepesta has spoken about this before, and I kind of agree with his stance that levels that are going to be the hardest in the game from now on are going to need like a really big mental barrier, because grinding is a big part of the process for beating a hard level, at least what I've seen from and heard from people, because I'm not too much of a player myself. It does seem that for a level especially like this with so many tight gaps and choke points that you're just gonna have to get through it. We've seen so many journeys from people like Nepesta himself where he's just waking up, getting on the game, grinding for hours every day and just trying to blast through the level, and this level is just not desirable in that sense, right? Which is definitely changing the list to the point where people that used to grind on the list aren't like motivated the same way that they used to be, and then the list like is changing and the players are changing all the time. So I kind of see the viewpoint that the list is ruined when levels like this place so high, levels like this get rated. I think this level deserves a rating at least because it's a sick accomplishment. It looks cool, it's built pretty well for the most part. I mean, let's take a look at the demon list. We have Acheron, I've made a video on that, Avernus, Silent Clubstep, Slaughterhouse, Q-Key, Abyss of Darkness. The Coupon Circles is an old impossible level, so of course the gameplay is going to be ridiculous on that. We have Minus Try. I've never even seen this level. Okay, so this is another example of what I mean. Like, these levels with slow and extremely fierce and tight gameplay are just making their way to the top because people actually have the skill sets to pass them now, and the legacy of impossible levels is finally being fulfilled, which is somewhat of a motivator to some people, but for those that are trying to enjoy the list the same way that they did back in the day, it's... What was that text? Excuse me? Okay, it's just not going to be desirable the same way that it was. But I wouldn't say the list is ruined, I would just say the list is changed. But I'm not a top player, so don't take my word for like everything. I'm just an unbiased creator that enjoys cool levels and the schemes behind them and the history behind them, what they were trying to accomplish, stuff like that. But I will say I don't quite like the idea of just buffing levels to impossible status just to say that they're impossible, say that they're hard, get the clout from them, you know? It's also fascinating how these levels are actually beaten, I've got to say, but that novelty kind of wears off when you realize, okay, this is now on a list that many people use for their entire motivation to play the game, which is quite odd in my opinion, by the way. Like, a lot of people wait for levels to get rated to beat them, and once you get so many rewards and stuff and you get all the achievements, it kind of... I don't get it. I don't get why things have to be rated to beat them, unless you're going for like demon list points. But yeah, it's just not going to be the same. This is very true from Calvin, and it's a point that I want to add to the video, and yes, I literally got to this point by searching the list is ruined on Twitter, but like, the demon list was never really supposed to be accessible. Like, it's always been a thing to just marvel at the top levels and how they could possibly be done. True, it wasn't supposed to be good, it's just trivial, it's just listing the hardest levels. People are always improving, this is always going to get harder, but the levels are kind of deteriorating in what they stand for and their qualities and what they're trying to do. Like, it's also a point that you gotta add on. Like, this is purely from an accessibility standpoint. Yes! Yes! This is kind of what I'm saying. The standards are lowering is a harsh way of putting it, but it's right. The values are changing in these levels and what they're trying to accomplish. There's a lot of sarcasm on Twitter. I don't know. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on this because I'm noticing myself becoming more and more disinterested and detached from the list because the levels are flying into the list, I have to say. But I mainly hear about some of these levels because of the amount of complaints that come through when they get rated and the stigma that's put around, oh, this is about to be top 10, holy moly. Like, it's just not for me, but wow. Some of these levels, like Cold Sweat, it feels like this was like 12, like a month ago. It's bizarre. Bloodlust is 60? What? No way. Sonic Wave is 112. Oh man, hold on. Let me go in the history for Sonic Wave. 2017, number 1. And look how long it stayed 1, and then look at the rapid decline. Oh my god. Yeah, that's ridiculous. The oversaturation of levels is probably something that's deterring a lot of people from keeping up with this as well. There is still really a dedicated community for this. I'm acting like everything's falling apart and da-da-da, but I'm just trying to justify maybe why this whole list is ruined thing is coming about. Erebus is about to fall off of extended. Like, what? Dude, the good old days. The good old days. I mean, how many victors does it have now? Okay, there's 500 victors. Incredible. Well, I'm probably gonna end this video here. I think I've dropped every cent that I've ever had. I'm not a player. I'm not a professional. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is purely an external point of view. I'm just a bystander. I don't know anything. Please don't attack me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Leave some topics that you think I should talk about on the channel. Leave a like and subscribe, and have a good day.